Mark Lowenell for more analysis on this story. Guney Yildiz joins me now. He's visiting fellow at the European Council on Foreign Relations. Guney, you have your doubts that this securing of Afrin is as conclusive as the Turkish president would like to portray it.
I mean, it looked like from the statements from the YPG and sources I checked from on the ground, that they're not putting up the YPG Kurdish-led People's Protection Forces are not putting up a stiff resistance inside the city center, but there are still fighters across Afrin in rural areas and other places. Independent monitor says that the YPG lost around 500 fighters, or a little bit over 500 fighters in this fight, and we know that they had around 8,000 fighters in Afrin area. So we might expect some kind of guerrilla-style attacks against Turkish and pro-Turkish forces on the ground. But I think the Turkish reports that the city is under control are valid. But this area has been under control of the YPG for over almost 7 years, and YPG has
and has escaped the wider conflict in large part.
Exactly, and so that it received a huge amount of IDPs from other regions who took shelter in this area. And YPG were firmly entrenched in this region, in urban and rural areas, since the last 7 years, and we've seen them putting up stiff resistance to protect one single mountain, for example, for days. And it's so interesting to see that they didn't put up any fight to protect the main part of the region.
What happens now to the population in this town?
Well, the population have been traditionally, this is the Kurdish majority area, and the forces with the Turkish military are largely Islamist and Arab forces, which have shown in videos their hostility against the Kurds. So people who were displaced from earlier fighting around Afrin actually didn't take shelter in Turkish-controlled areas, but moved to the south and southeast, close to the regime areas, but regime is not letting them into their own areas as well.
Well, indeed, it's simply not a question, even if that were possible from an organisational point of view, it really is not a question of this population displacing elsewhere in Syria. It's far from being that simple, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And also we will see a huge demographic change in this area, because President Erdogan openly said that he wants to relocate Syrian refugees inside Turkey who were from elsewhere in Syria, in this area. So if that happens, like within a few months, if people relocate in formerly Kurdish-held villages, then the demographic change will be difficult to reverse.
Meanwhile, it creates a tension, of course, between Turkey and the United States.
Exactly, because President Erdogan openly said he wanted to target another town, Manbij, which I visited a few months ago in northern Syria, which is towards the east of Afrin, which is under aerial protection of the US. He said Turkey wants to capture that town as well and push the Kurdish fighters to east of Euphrates. And if that happens, and previously US soldiers visiting the area said they won't let that happen, but there were conflicting reports about what US will do there. But this quick fall of Afrin will accelerate a collision course between US and Turkey.
Guney Yildiz, thank you very much.